Hey, and I'm here. I'm super, super excited for today's presentation. I've been preparing this for a few days, and I can't wait to share it because I think it's going to benefit so many here. And this is why this is done too. So let me share my screen quite quickly. And as soon as you see this, if you can see me right now, please do leave a comment, say hi. Tell me where you're coming from, and if you're watching the replay too. In the past few days, the Facebook algorithm has been a little bit wobbly, and it has not shown the live videos somehow. It hasn't shown that much. So I know so many guys of you have been signing up for this. I've gotten a lot of DMs, a lot of emails, and it would be quite a shame if a lot of you would miss it because Facebook somehow is not showing it. So if you're seeing this right now, please do say hi, leave a comment, press any button that you see, the heart button, the like button, and it's going to absolutely help as many as possible to see this because so many did sign up. But somehow, with all the changes that Facebook is doing, it's quite hard for people to actually see the things. So yeah, it would absolutely help. The more comments, the more engagement we have, the more people are going to be able to see it, even though they signed up. They otherwise don't see it. So let me open the screen. I see some comments. Hi, good afternoon from New York. Hey, hi, I only just had a notification. You got a notification. That's awesome. I think you only get notifications if you press like a certain button to allow notifications, but it's awesome that you got one. Glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too. We have someone here from Freeport, Illinois, I guess. Awesome. I'm here from Munich, Germany, if you can't tell by my accent. But yeah, I love this very international group. From people from all over the world. It makes it really beautiful how the internet has connected us all. Awesome. Let me share the screen and we can go straight into the presentation that I have prepared for you guys. And this presentation is beginner friendly. Like, it's really beginner friendly. But if you've already have some experience, you're going to get a ton out of this as well. So let me show you the presentation I have here. Let's just press present. And then let's officially start with the training for today, which is how to build an Amazon business in 2021. Amazon keeps changing, opportunities keep changing and growing, and we're looking at it, how it's looking this year and how this might be really interesting for you and why it might be interesting to you. So we're going to look at all those details that are important. So this is going to be for you specifically if you've been wanting to build a business, if you've been having the goal of leaving your 9-to-5 at a stage. I'm not telling you that it's going to happen right away because I want to be very transparent upfront. But the possibility of you leaving your 9-to-5 later on is there, of building a bigger business is there, and also of building a bigger product-based business. If this is something that you have been wanting to do, this is going to be a class that is very much going to interest you. I'm going to give you insights into that because we're going to be looking at how a 6-figure business is built on Amazon. We're going to look at what the steps are to get started, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what private labeling is and how we pick a winning product. Because in the end of the day, one of the most important parts is picking a great product. It's quite a few things that we want to cover today. So I'm going to try to be as efficient as possible during this presentation. But if you do have questions, please feel free to always comment them. We're going to have like a Q&A session afterwards to answer all these questions. I'm going to go through all the comments and answer the questions. And also, if you have like anything you want to add, always put it in the comments. I absolutely welcome that. And yeah, so Amazon FBA is a topic that you most likely have heard about already before. Maybe you've heard it on YouTube, or maybe you started it already, or you've gotten like some information out there. Unfortunately, a lot of people are left with a lot of guesswork, and they don't really know where to get started, and they feel stuck in a state of paralysis analysis. And I don't speak from this just as an experience of people watching people do that. I talk about an experience for myself too, because I have been stuck in analysis paralysis for the longest time. And to get out of that part and to really be able to start the business or really be able to take off, this is often the first step that we need to have help with. And that's why in this presentation, I decided to really add this component, because if you've ever seen a presentation with me, you would know that I'm very technical. Like, I go into software, I go into like a lot of technical stuff. And I noticed that I lose a lot of people on the way because I fail to address the elephant in the room. Because the elephant in the room of helping you to start a business is not really to know what software to use or how specifically you want to be using a keyword and things like that. The really important part is to get that belief in yourself that this is possible, and to get that first step even going, like even get you over that first hurdle of trying to get there. And I would love to be the person that is going to support you today to help you to get that first step into taking action and making this not just a dream of, okay, I would love to do this business one day, but much rather something like, hey, this is cool, I want to do this, and I feel clarity and I feel like I can do this. And this is my goal for today. And if this is cool with you, or if this is what you've been looking for, please let me know, because I try to adapt my presentations as much as I can to see what people are needing. And if this resonates with you and you feel like this is something that is working with you, do let me know as well. So the issue in most things that I've seen working with a lot of different people is that they are putting so much energy in researching the steps and researching and wanting to be sure, like, how can I get started now? But the issue is that when you do a lot of the random research, especially using YouTube videos and some random gurus and videos from 2016, and some random guru that uploaded some YouTube videos maybe a year ago, but has now nothing to do with Amazon anymore, or does actually not know much about Amazon. So there's a lot of this misinformation out there, and unfortunately quite a lot of nonsense that is rather getting you into trouble than really working for you. And I want to tell you that here in this presentation, if you've never seen me before, if you don't even know who I am, I want to reassure you that you are learning from someone who has very practical experience from working with Amazon directly for years. And when I did work for Amazon, my job there was to coach sellers and help sellers succeed, help them troubleshoot, help them, build their stores, build up their business. And my experience is not just from launching a product or two, but my experience comes from working with hundreds and hundreds of different businesses, thousands and thousands of products. So be sure that here you're not just going to learn some random tactic, but actually that what is really going to support you on your way. So let's get started now. We got like all the initial information out there. Let's get started with the actual training. So if you have a pen and paper, do take notes, turn off your distractions, turn off the phones, and make sure you participate as much as you can, because the more you participate, the more it's going to ingrain, and the clearer you're going to feel, especially if you notice that there is some question that are still open for you, you're not pretty sure about something. Make sure to ask the questions. I'm going to answer all the questions, and make sure also to stay until the end, because that's when I do the Q&A and I can address your questions. And if you are watching the replay, because I know many are going to be watching the replay, then still feel free to leave the comment. And over the next few days, I'm going to come back and reply to your comments. Okay, so let's get started. So let's look at how the whole journey is going to look like. So we have a yesterday, we have a today, and we have a tomorrow. So we're looking at where we are standing right now and what our goal is. And our goal in this case is to be building a e-commerce business, and specifically here on Amazon. The reasons why we're looking on Amazon, I'm going to explain that in a moment. But the reason we are looking at what we want to be doing tomorrow, because we want to have a goal in our mind. And in order to take action today, we want to be clear of what it is that we want tomorrow. So at this point, you might want to ask yourself, what is the reason that you are intrigued about building an Amazon FBA business? And leave that in the comments if you feel like you would like to share it. Like, what is the reason that you want to do it? I can share it from my personal side. When I first learned about Amazon FBA and learned about e-commerce and everything, my goal was to have an income to support my son. I was a single mom back then, and to get away from a rather unhealthy relationship. So that was my goal back then, and it was really, really strong within me that no matter what, I wanted to do it. And for everyone here, it's going to be a different goal. But it's important to have that connection with that goal, so we don't end up starting something, like looking for an opportunity and stopping it, looking and stopping. Because look, there's different opportunities always out there. You can do Amazon, you can do drop shipping, you can do, print on demand. If you look for opportunities, you'll get 1,000 different things. And that is only in e-commerce. Then you can do coaching. Then you can do MLMs. Then you can, there's so many different things. But the issue with that is that it's so easy to fall into the shiny object syndrome. Like, we start one project, and then as soon as it gets like a little bit uncomfortable because we need to take action, we search and start researching again for a new product, like new opportunity, a different business. Maybe we can do something else. And unfortunately, this sort of pattern can keep us in a continuous cycle of never actually doing the business and always being in a research mode, always wanting to figure out the best way to get started. And if I can give you some advice, because I've been in that shiny object syndrome kind of issue, I still often have that still with like marketing tactics and things like I see a new thing and I want to jump on it. I see TikTok, I want to jump on it. So it's a matter of, for me as well, to figure out, hey, what is one thing that I'm going to commit myself to really focus on without being scattered? And if this is one of multiple business opportunities that you're looking at, I absolutely do recommend you to give yourself a time frame where you promise yourself that you're going to commit. And this is the time that you're going to just do one opportunity and work on it until it works. Because if you stop at the first roadblock and search for the next big thing, it's going to be very hard to really get to the finish line, to the goal that you want to be getting to. And I know it's a little bit harsh, and I don't want to come across harsh in any way, but I find that it's really important to even be talking about this mindset things, because in the end of the day, it really isn't just knowing which buttons to press. It's believing in oneself's mind that you can push these buttons and that it's going to work for you. So important. And it took me so long to figure this out. Like, I was sometimes sitting in webinars and then they were talking about mindset. I'm like, oh, screw mindset. I already know this stuff. I want to just know the tactics. But over the years, I've learned that in the end of the day, it's most likely 80% mindset, accountability, and getting support that's going to give you the success, rather than knowing which software to use and how to use it. In the end of the day, that would be maybe 20% of your success formula, and 80% of your success formula is going to be like, you're going to be committed no matter how to figure this out, and being resourceful and saying like, you know what, world? You can be naysayers as much as you want. I want to do this. I have my reasons. I want to do it because I want to travel. I want to do this because I have kids and I want to inspire them as well to later do something. I want to have freedom, financial freedom, time freedom. I want to also be an example. Like, there's so many different reasons that we have within us that we want to just do it. So yeah, let me know if you feel the same way. If you have like something within you where you feel like, I really feel like now it's the time to do it. And if this is you, then this is awesome. And I'm glad you're here. So yeah, leave a comment if you ever felt that even though you've done some research, you still felt like you're not ready yet to get started, like something feels like you're behind, not sure if you're ever going to get there. And looking back at when I first started e-commerce, 2013, most of my thoughts were quite negative in the initial phase, because nothing seemed to be really working out, and I doubted that I was ever going to be able to do it. And at that time, I had no clue that just a few years later, I would be working with some of the biggest companies in the world, helping them sell products on Amazon. And the only thing that got me from the moment of absolute self-doubt, like, I was really ashamed that I kind of failed so many businesses, that I lost so much money, that I seemed to like launch a product and then it didn't work again. And I felt really, really bad. And the reason why I'm telling you this so openly is because I know that so many that reach out to me in the DMs, they say, oh my God, I feel like I'm never going to get there. I feel really lost. I'm not sure where to start. I've been wanting to do this for years. I've been researching Amazon FBA now for years and I haven't started yet. Like, I get these messages quite a bit. And if you ever felt like this, it's all right. We're going to get there. It's going to be okay. Because once we get through those thoughts and we are aware that we're thinking that, and we get through the feelings, we're going to see the actions and results. And the moment that things changed for me was just a matter of a very small change in my mindset, where I finally felt like, gosh, I can actually do this. And if something goes wrong, I'm just going to stick, and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again. And that feeling of, hey, I'm not going to care that much what others are going to think right now, because it's always like that, people admire you once you've done all the big things, once you've reached the 6 figures, once you've reached the 7 figures. But oftentimes in the moments where you just in the beginning, they smile at you aha, but it's fine. We're just going to stick through it and get to the result, have our goal in our mind, and that's all that we focus on. And that is it when it comes to now mindset. I just wanted to make sure that we talk about it, because it is so, so crucial to know, yes, this is possible. And trust me, this is really possible. In 2021, Amazon is not saturated. So many people say that. There's so many YouTube videos around here. Oh, it's saturated. The same videos were around even 3-4 years ago, when Amazon was like a third of the size of what it is now. Please never listen to this naysay or anything like that. Be sure that you're on your way. You will figure it out. Amazon is not going to disappear from one day to another. And even if in 10 years, Amazon is not going to be there, something else is going to be there. People are going to continue to buy. And as long as you have the mindset of I know my dream, I know why I'm doing it, and I'll get there, this is going to be something that's 100% going to work out for you. Maybe not in a direct manner. Maybe it's not going to just go like that. There might be some hiccups in between. I'm sure there are. That's just part of being in a business. But you're going to eventually reach your goal as long as you have that mindset of I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to do it no matter what. And now finally, many will think, oh my God, when is she done with the mindset talk? But it's really, really important to talk about it. And it's the first time I'm talking so much about mindset, but through the time that I've been now working with quite a few ladies from this group, I had some beta groups and group coaching. I've worked with a lot of one-on-one clients from this group as well, because I've been focusing on working mostly with female entrepreneurs and help them become successful. Because in the time that I've worked mostly with corporate clients in Amazon, it was mostly male-owned, and I felt oh, come on, it's time for some women to have successful businesses, and or more women. Of course, there are already women that have successful businesses, but I think it's time for even more. And I like that in the past few years, the women's movement has been going more and more and more. And my experience now in the past years now with working with men and with women, what I've noticed as a difference between men and women, it's in the end of the day, it's just really mindset. Because men have this natural belief in themselves, they are the kings and they can do this. They sometimes overestimate their abilities, while women oftentimes underestimate. They don't fully see their own talents. And which is why I thought maybe it's good to have a women's only community where women can very openly, share their ideas, and without being mansplained or without feeling shy. about being purely open and just going for the ideas, going for the products and for the value add and all that. And it's been really amazing to watch what is coming out of it. Every day I'm working with my clients that I've gotten to know through this group. And yeah, I'm very, very proud that more and more women are just doing the thing and building their businesses and selling cool products, because we are here to sell cool products, not some garbage. Okay, so now let's go into Amazon. Like, why would you even want to sell on Amazon? Like, a lot of people ask me that. Like, Laura, why do you keep talking about Amazon? Like, why should I not just sell on my own shop and I save the Amazon fees? And I'm going to give you a very simple reason why that is. Because you want to go where your potential customer is already at. And when we look at the world, the online world, most online shops look like this, especially if they're just launching, if they haven't figured out Facebook ads yet, if they haven't figured out a lot of these things yet. This is how they look. Now, compared to Amazon, this is how Amazon looks. Amazon is like a very busy marketplace. People are already around with the intention of buying. And there are hundreds and hundreds of millions of people out there that are interested in a product. And that is why Amazon is so lucrative, because to offer your product on Amazon itself doesn't cost you, other than the $39 monthly fee, it doesn't cost you to offer something. You only pay if you sell. You pay a commission, which is around 15%. It depends on your product, of course. But the amount of extra sales that you can generate by just offering your product on Amazon is unreal. There's a reason why the biggest brands are selling on Amazon, because they all understand the massive impact it has to be where the customer already is at. It makes a massive difference. And when we think about the physical world, now let's not think about the online world for a moment. If you were going to open a shop, a physical shop, you would much rather possibly go to a place where there's a lot of walking, people walking outside, potential customers walking outside, rather than going in some side corner somewhere where no one is going to find you. And it's pretty similar on an online shop. Like, and I had to learn this in a very ugly way. Like, when I first launched my very first online shop, 2013, I invested into a beautiful website. I had a beautiful product, beautiful logo. Everything looked nice. And I thought, okay, I've joined like an SEO seminar, and I put like the SEO tags, and I thought like, okay, now I launched this product and now I'm just waiting for customers to come. And I hit crickets. No one really came. And I know many of you that have online stores struggle with a similar issue, that it is very hard to get customers to look at your online store. And in most cases, you will have to do outside promotions. You will have to get either Facebook ads, Google ads, influencers, Facebook promotions. And either you're hustling the whole day on Facebook, trying to connect with people, trying to offer your product, posting in free Facebook groups, or you try yourself on Facebook ads, which can work. But at the same time, if you don't know what you're doing, you could lose a lot of money instead of making money. Now, on the other side, on Amazon, you approach this business a little bit differently. And we're going to look at what we look for when we look for a winning product in a moment. But what we want to benefit from here is we have people on the site that are already searching for products. Amazon is a search engine, which is awesome for people who want to sell, because we will know exactly what people are typing in when they're searching for something. And also, we know what our competitors are doing. We can find out how much our competitors are making, how much money they're making. We get to see what fees they're paying, what advertising they're doing. We have a bit more of an insight into the market and can come in much more strategically and position ourselves. And when I work with different businesses, and often would also sell on Amazon because it might make sense. And then at the end of the day, it turns out that most of the sales then come from Amazon instead of the online shop. So that's why I love this focus on Amazon, because you can leverage so much on their customer base. And of course, there are other benefits that I'm going to be talking about as well, like fulfillment centers, using the warehousing, having Amazon ship the orders, having Amazon do your customer service. Like, they do a lot of awesome things for a good price, really good price. So awesome to do this, especially if you're just starting out. You want to be doing this from home, and you don't want to get in a warehouse, and you don't want to be shipping all day and all night and orders. This is an awesome possibility for you. We have a total of 112 million Prime members. So these are members that are paying monthly because they're ordering quite a bit to save shipping. A lot of people are on Amazon, and that is the main reason why I like to look at it. Now, of course, we want to be looking at a little bit like, okay, now that I know that there's Amazon, there's so many products that are being sold there, how do I even know what to sell, especially now in 2021? Things have changed. 2015, you could have just sold like a garlic press. It didn't even matter what you were selling, and you would have done really, really well on Amazon. Nowadays, we have to be a little bit more strategic. We have to really go deeper into offering products that people truly want, have nicer branding and things like that in place. But what is super, super interesting, something that is very much done on Amazon, is private labeling. And if you're not sure what private labeling is, it basically means that instead of you having your own factory and producing a product, you get your product made by a factory that already produces the same product that you like, and you can put your own brand on it. That is what's called private labeling. It's very known in beauty. Like, you will know that some brands actually have their product made in the same laboratory, like it's in the same labs, it's all done, and oftentimes it's just private labeling. It's just a different label, different bottle, same ingredients, same product, pretty much. So this doesn't only exist for beauty, it exists basically for everything. Like, if you go to Target or any supermarket, you will find that they have like their own brands, and they have like all bigger brands, and they have the no-name brands. And oftentimes the no-name brands are made at the same place like the bigger brands are. It's just that they're done as private labeling. Now, while 10 years ago it was maybe a little bit challenging to start a private label product, now it has gotten really, really simple and easy to do so. Finding products that you want to be selling, and finding factories that you want to sell them. I do have a sheet of 20 plus places, online websites from around the world, where you can find factories for your private label product. If you would like to have that sheet, just comment in the comments manufacturer, just comment manufacturer, and then tomorrow one of my team members is going to just send you that sheet. It is very, very helpful. And if you're watching the replay, you can also comment that even after this live training is over. You just comment manufacturer and you'll get a list of websites that you can go on. And when you go on the website, you just, for example, you look for makeup brushes, and then you will find like all sorts of different manufacturers that will produce them, different looks, different sort of packagings, how you can brand it, and so on. And that for literally any product that you can think of. So this site is going to be very, very helpful for you guys. Just comment manufacturer if you want to have that resource. Now, if we're doing this private labeling, there's a bit of a process. I'm going to very quickly go through this because I want to focus mostly now on what sort of categories we would like to look at and how we would look for a product. Now, when we do the whole process from selecting a niche, like if you might be saying niche, I say niche. So that's basically a small subcategory of a product. So if you would, for example, be selling beauty, you wouldn't just want to be selling beauty products. You might want to niche it down a little bit, maybe like eco-friendly beauty products or vegan, or like something like beauty tools made out of bamboo, or something specific that is a little bit niche, like less people searching for it. You don't want to be selling water that everyone wants. You want to be looking for products that a smaller group of people want. Like, for example, you might have an interest for like a hobby, like crochet or sewing, stuff like that, like working with resin, or like all these different like DIY things these days. This would be considered a niche, and that's something that you would rather be wanting to look at just overall beauty. Then as a second step, once you have a niche in mind, you want to be looking at product selection and validating if that product is going to make sense or not, if that is going to bring you a good return of investment, if you can have good profit margins, because it's important. Do not sacrifice profits. I know a lot of women, they like to, just offer great value, and they don't like to be salesy, and they don't want to take anything, and they sometimes are willing to sacrifice a bit on the profits. I do not suggest you ever do this when you are selling products, because see it as your baby. Your business is going to depend on your product being profitable, and you want to have a healthy profit margin. And having a markup is a very normal thing. If you're buying a product from a manufacturer from, let's say, $3 to $5, it is more than okay to be selling it for 15 or higher, because your business needs to have that cushion for being able to pay fees and other things and to be profitable, because no point building a business if you're going to be working for free and not make any profit. And that's really important, that we look at the profitability of the business. Step 3, we're going to look at manufacturers. Then we'd want to look at samples. We want to see how the products are, select a manufacturer, think about branding, selecting a name, packaging, coloring, all these different things. Then select a manufacturer, get everything up and running for your Amazon, prepare the product listing, and then prepare the launch. These are, in a nutshell, in a very simple manner, all the steps that are required to do to go from no product to launching your first product. Now, of course, selecting a category is super, super important. So before we can select a niche, we need to be selecting a category first. And there are good categories and there are rather not so good categories to get started with. I'd like to recommend baby, beauty, health and personal care, industrial and scientific, office products, outdoor, pet supplies, sports, tool and home improvement. These are some of my favorite categories. I mean, there are more categories, but these are some of my favorite. It doesn't say kitchen specifically, but kitchen is something that is really, really good too. It's considered in home, but like if you want to divide it a little bit further, kitchen is another really, really great category. And then within those categories, then you can look for niche. Like, for example, in kitchen, it could be like you're looking for eco-friendly, like products made out of bamboo or something like that. Just to give you like a very simple example, that could be a niche, and then you could find different products within that. Now, niches, categories that you don't want to find any niches in, automotive. That's the same with like bicycle stuff, anything power sports, camera, photo, cell phone, accessories, no electronics, even nothing with batteries. I don't recommend that. Nothing with food, no appliances. Like appliances, I mean like with bigger electronic products. No computers, no software, no video, DVD, no games, no watches. Ideally not jewelry either. I know a lot of people like to go into jewelry. I don't recommend going into jewelry either. These are what you want to be staying away from. And what you want to have in your back of your mind is you want to stay away from it because a lot of times either defect rates, difficulties with compliance, like you have to have like very, very harsh labeling requirements, legal certifications, stuff like that. I don't recommend to do when you're just beginning. And also liability. Especially when it comes to car stuff, motorsports, you want to be careful not to have anything that will cause you a big liability. However, if you look at the baby category, you want to be thinking about that too. You don't want anything that can cause you liability. Nothing where a baby could get hurt, nothing where a baby could swallow something, nothing where you're not quite sure what the material is that the baby's going to have in their mouth. If you want to be cautious there, because anywhere where you could potentially be sued because something happened, you want to avoid that, of course. And not only because you don't want to be sued, but because we are all decent humans and we don't want to harm babies, but or smaller kids either. So these are the categories that we can look into. What are your favorite categories out of this? Like, I really love beauty. I think that is a wonderful category, a lot of opportunity there. Office products, very, very beautiful niche. And yeah, what is your favorite niche or category that you would see yourself getting started in? Now, we've looked at categories. We want to now find winning products, right? And to find winning products, we got to look at a success formula first, because finding a winning product is not a random act. It's not just that you go on Amazon and then you look at something and you decide to do it. Finding a winning product is a little bit of like a recipe that you need. You need to have like a few different things in there for it to become a winning product. And where you have to be very cautious about are your emotions here, because just because you like a product or you're really passionate about a product, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be a great idea to offer it on Amazon. And I know this is a little bit of a bummer. People don't like to hear this, but I want to be very upfront here, because I see the biggest mistakes being done when people are extremely passionate about the product, because they tend to not listen to red flags and they're walking around with like pink glasses. And because they love the products, they cannot objectively anymore see if others are going to like the product, and they just go full in, and sometimes that doesn't work because there was no proof of concept. While I don't think just you want to be copying other products necessarily, but you want to make sure that whatever you want to sell has people interested. If someone comes to me and say, hey, I have this awesome product idea and no one else is selling it, how awesome is that? I'm like, alarm clocks, do. Like, if no one else is offering it on Amazon, it could either mean that no one is searching for it, that it is a product that is so new that no one is aware that they need it, or it's not allowed. And this sort of product, when it's like some innovation, I don't think just not to do an innovation. I think it's beautiful to be innovative and start new products. But you might want to start with a Kickstarter or something like that to see if people are truly going to buy it before producing it in mass and then realizing, actually it's only me that's liking that product. And that can sometimes happen. And to protect yourself from that, I suggest you only select a product once it fits the success formula. And I'm going to show you that success formula now. The success formula comes together out of 3 parts. And the first part I've already touched on right now. It's finding a market. And this is so, so important. You want to be offering something that people are already searching for. And because Amazon is similar to Google and YouTube, a search engine, people are going to the search bar and they're typing something in. And whatever they're typing, Amazon has like the algorithm working, and then it shows up the results that Amazon thinks are relevant to this thing that people are searching for. Now, you cannot try to offer something people are not searching for. But at the same time, you don't want to be offering something that a lot of people are searching for, but it's very vague. Like, no one really knows what it is. Like, for example, no, I don't think of an example. Like, maybe a very vague keyword would be like boho design, for example. Like, what does that mean? Are we talking about rugs? Are we talking about plates? Are we talking about, a closet? It could be so many different things. Now, we want to specifically know what people are searching for, and software is out there for that. And if you're interested in having more of like an in-depth tutorial of how that software is used, please do let me know. You can just comment software. And I do have some tutorials specifically to talk about software to help you find out what people are searching for, to find out how many people are searching for and how much your competitors are making. If you are interested in that, please do just comment. What did I say? Software, exactly. Just comment software, and I'll send you a training that I have for that. Because I didn't want to make this training too dry today with just going through, but if you're very interested in it, I'm very happy to show you that because I love it. I love working with software. So that's the first step. You need to have this. Like, you have to have all 3. Your business, if you have all 3, you have a high likelihood of success. If one of those are missing, your likelihood of succeeding decreases tremendously. And if you have 2 missing, then the likelihood of success it's not going to be there much. It is going to be pure luck if something happens, but unlikely. That's why it's so, so important. If you are on the way of finding products or you want to buy products to sell them, make sure you have in your mind a mental check, like, okay, I need to find a market. As a second part, I need to bring value. What does that mean? We don't want to be offering exactly what everyone else is offering. We want to come in and bring something extra. bring something, and it doesn't have to be like super complicated, but we want to bring a win-win situation for the customer. We want to offer something that is going to be appealing. And sometimes bringing value in can be just by having much nicer branding, having a nicer customer support, having a whole, like a beautiful experience for the customer, like nice product packaging. You open it, it has like a poem, it has like beautiful wrapped products. That could be like a beautiful value add. Also, bundling it up, a product with something that complements with an accessory, like really thinking with the mindset, how can I serve my customer? How can I make my customer happy with this product to make my product a no-brainer for them? That is a really important component in 2021. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to half-ass and just find a product and then stick your logo on it and then go on Amazon and try to sell it. No, you want to really come with the mindset of like, hey, customer, I want to bring you an awesome product, and I'm going to figure out a way how I can make this product better for you. And the best way to do this actually is by looking at the negative reviews of your competitors. Like, look at what your customer is not liking about the competitors, and that's where you can come in and bring some value. Very important to succeed in 2021, a must. And then the third part, of course, you need to get traffic. If no one sees your product, then it's going to be very hard to sell, obviously. Many people do forget about that when they do product research. They find a product first, and then they try to get the traffic part later on. They're like, I'm just going to, promote it somehow and I get some traffic. No, you want to have that figured out beforehand. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there with inventory and it's going to move much slower than expected in most cases. Now, if you have that framework, all the three things right, you have a product that people are specifically searching for, you're adding value, and you know how to get on page number 1, you get the traffic, then you have a product that is having a very high likelihood of succeeding. And this is really the success formula of finding a winning product, because if you have all those 3 components, you're going to have a winning product. Super, super important. If you want to take anything out of this presentation today, I really suggest you take this, like make a screenshot or, write it down in your notebook. Like, this is so crucial, and because it seems so simple, it is often overlooked, and people end up missing one of those 3 parts and then don't get the success that they could have if they did work on all 3 parts. So this is really, really crucial to find your winning product. Let's continue. Let's see at what makes actually a great private label product. And if you wonder why I'm saying private label product specifically, because in my opinion, that is the best product to get started with if you're starting, or even if you want to be scaling your business. Like, I'm currently working with some women that want to be scaling from 6 to 7 figures. We're having like this case study going on. And we are also focusing on private label products mostly, although I do have some that are working on original products, but mostly private label products, because we can scale faster and there's so much that can be done there. So private labeling, just to give you a quick recap what it is, you have a manufacturer produce a product they already have, and you make some changes to it, but basically in its essence, it's the same product, and you can then add your branding, your logo on it, and then you make it your very own product. You own the product and you can then sell it. The benefit here is you can start with a smaller capital. You can start with anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 in product cost. That is awesome. If you, of course, start with an original product, like you have to be creating like molds and you might have to get patents and here, whatnot, all, you would be starting with much more than $5,000. And that's why I love starting private label products, because you have a lower entry barrier when it comes to the financial side. And also it doesn't require you to develop the product for a year, to hire product designers, to have it like all drawn out. Like the process of creating your very own original product is a little bit more complicated than doing a private label product. It can be quite simple and straightforward, and that's why I love it. And that's the way I like to go with my customers that want to be scaling to 6 figures, and those that are scaling to 7 figures. We're doing the same thing. We're still focusing on private labeling because it just works. So let's look at the guideline. What are we looking at? We're looking at just a few things initially when we're looking for products. We're looking at something that is easy to find. Of course, the keyword has to be pretty straightforward. To go back to the boho example, for example, if you're selling some like macrame, I'm not sure if I pronounce it correctly, but macrame or macrame, depending on how it's pronounced, and it's like a wall hanging, you would want to only find that with those keywords. Like if the product that you're finding is boho design, it could be macrame or macram, but it could be 1,000 different things too. So you want to always have in mind, whatever product you're finding for yourself, do you have to explain to someone what it is, or is the keyword or the name of the product self-explanatory? That is super important, because otherwise it gets really, really hard for people to find your products. Another example for that would be like, okay, for example, would be like makeup remover. It's very broad. It could be a liquid. It could be all sorts of different things. Now, if you're selling reusable cotton rounds, that is very specific. What it is, it's like a reusable cotton round that is made out of a fabric. Then, because it's reusable, you can wash it. So you want to make sure that whatever product you're finding, it is pretty straightforward in the way people search for it. So you know how people are searching on it on Amazon. If you feel like, gosh, I don't know how I would search for this product on Amazon, this is a little bit of a red flag, because it might mean that it's going to be really hard for people to find your product. Then the next thing is competition. You want to be looking at how competitive your product is. If you are competing with the big ones like the Nikes, the Amazon brands, the ones that have like 20,000 reviews, this is not what you want to be competing with. And if you see that product is out. You really never want to be competing with like those 20K reviews, 10K reviews. Now, if you want to, usually get asked the question like, what kind of level of reviews is acceptable? And there's not 100% straightforward answer. Sometimes 1,000, 2,000 is fine, as long as it's not like all of your competitors. And you want to also see that not most of your competitors are having so many reviews. And this is something where a lot of people go wrong. Like just a few days ago, I saw a TikTok, and there was this Amazon guru girl. She was suggesting to people that they should start their own Amazon business selling like these booty bands, those bands that you put around your thighs, and you can do some exercise and then you get a nice booty. So she was suggesting people should start selling these because they're cheap in getting those manufactured, and they're making massive, they're making, I think, almost $1 million a month in revenue. And I was just sitting there and I'm thinking, oh God, oh gosh, oh gosh, what is she suggesting to people? Because here we do have the biggest sharks out there, people or sellers with I don't know how many thousand reviews, like so many thousand reviews. It's going to be very hard for people to do it. And unfortunately, because people listen to this sort of advice, they then do it and they end up with 1,000 pieces of inventory that they're never going to be able to sell because it's so competitive, and they might be able to sell it at a loss, but not successfully. And that's why checking your competitor is really, really important. Don't try to go for products that are making $1 million a month. Like, no, you don't want to compete with these sort of big guys. Because on one side, how on earth are you going to be able to have that many products sent to Amazon? Like, if they're selling for $1 million, you will be sure that they have invested multiple $100,000 in inventory. So how would you want to do this? So I was quite upset actually when I saw this advice on TikTok by this lady that was giving Amazon advice, because it's like nonsense. You want to be looking at products that are not those sexy $1 million products, not even 100K a month product. You want to be looking at those 10K products that make 10K a month roughly, because those are the products that stay under the radar. It's easier to get started, and I promise you, it's much better to have 5, 6, 7 products that make 10K a month than having one that makes 100K or more, because those products come with a lot of headaches, a lot of nasty competitors. You don't want to be doing that stuff. It's long-term not going to give you much more success than having that strategy of going for the smaller products. Because if you go for the smaller product and 10K product, I mean, we're talking small. I mean, in relation to $1 million, of course, it seems small, but 10K is quite a bit, even though it's revenue, but that's still quite a bit. And having multiple, like, imagine you have 5, 6, 7, 8, that would already be $1 million business. Like if you have 8 10K products. So that $1 million business idea, while I believe it's beautiful and I think it's an awesome goal to have long term, don't have it as a short-term goal of wanting to find your first $1 million product. It might be a sabotage for your success later on. Sorry, I didn't turn off the notifications for my emails. Okay, so now the next, because I don't want to get lost too much in this competition part, but it's so important. So I want to make sure that we got that. Like, what is your guys' opinion? Like, would you rather have $1 million business selling multiple products, or have $1 million business just selling one product? I would really be curious to see what your opinions are on this. And I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's just like whatever you feel more comfortable with in the end of the day as well. And what you can start with too. Now, the next thing is price. You want to be only selling products that start at least $15. Reason is, below that, your profit margins are going to be smaller, and we don't want to be doing the same work as a bigger product would. Sorry, my nose is itchy. We wouldn't want to be making the same amount of work to make 50 cents of profit compared to a product that might bring us $10 in profit or $5 in profit, because our business is going to have a very rough time if we only have a very small profit margin. it actually could even kill our business at some point, because there are always going to be moments where you might have to do a little bit more advertising, where you have to be doing something, where you might be a little bit tight in, in your cash flow to reorder units. So if you're calculating with a product that gives you just a very small amount of profit, it can be very challenging to build this business. And we want to build a thriving business, not a suffering business that is barely surviving. So that's why we only want to have products that cost a minimum of $15 for the buyer, that are priced at minimum $15 on Amazon. We don't want to go too high either. Like 35 is a good price, until 40 maybe. I wouldn't go above 50. One reason, of course, if you are selling a more expensive product, your initial capital that it's required to start, it's going to be higher, of course. So you want to be looking at that. And then also, as soon as you go above 50, your conversion goes down. That means like the percentage of people buying your product in comparison to people looking at your product is going to go down, because there's like this mental barrier in the human's mind that once a product is above 50, people tend to think about that buying decision more. If it's below $50, below 40, especially if it's below 30, then it's often an impulsive decision to just click buy and buy the product, because it's much easier to be spending $15 on a product than spending $50 or more. You start thinking more about if you want to be spending that or not. Does that make sense to you? What do you think about that? Then the value add opportunity. This is something that we talked about in the success formula just now. So the value add opportunity is something that is super important. We want to find products that we can add some value. There's something that you see that there might be something here to be improved. If you notice there's nothing that you can improve, sorry. So if you see that nothing can be improved, then this might not be the product you want to be going for, because if you can't improve much, you're basically only selling exactly the same like everyone else is doing, it's going to be hard to stand out. And you want to add value when you enter a market, because you have to see it this way. If there's someone else offering a product that already has multiple reviews and you're coming on the market and you don't have much reviews yet, and if you not really have anything other to offer other than a cheaper price, and you don't want to always go for just offering a cheaper price, it's not a long-term strategy that's going to work if you just go for the pricing war. So you want to go always with the value add. That is the way to go, especially in 2021. Then, of course, we want to be looking at market size. This is done with software, because we want to be looking at how much people are searching for. We want to have a minimum of 1,500 in search volume for multiple keywords. And then we want our competitors to be making at least $5,000 in revenue. If you don't know how to search for that, I do have a separate training that is just for software that I could send you if you want to have that. So if you did want to have the software training, I've mentioned it earlier before, but I will mention it now for those that maybe have joined or some are watching the replay. You can just comment the word software in the comments now, or you can DM me as well, software, and then I'll send you the link to a training that we have. It's a free training for using the software that I'm talking about. So you find out how many people are searching for something and how your competitors how much they are making. Then, of course, we want to look at product size. We don't want to be selling massive products. because of shipping costs, because of warehousing costs, all different things. The smaller, the better. This is not a must, but it's a recommended thing. And then we want to be looking at seasonality and trends. We don't want to necessarily just go for something that is only selling during Christmas time, for example, or only Halloween, where you have a very like short window of maybe a month where you can sell it. Not necessarily what we want to be going for. And we don't want to be going for trends, like things that just popped up a few weeks ago and people said, yeah, all searching for it and buying it. And a lot of new offers are popping up on the market. Not necessarily we want to be going to for. We want to have a long-term strategy that is going to allow us to build a sustainable business over time. Because, you know, what I like to have as a long-term strategy is that this business is not going to be a business that requires you to work 9 to 5, but much rather with just a few hours a day, or even if you want to do it passively, like I say semi-passive because this business would never be purely passive, but semi-passive in the matter that you could have a virtual assistant that can help you with a lot of the takeovers, a lot of the things that you need to do, a lot of automation. This is especially something that I talk with my 6 to 7 figure sellers that are growing from 6 to 7 figures. We look a lot into automation. We look a lot into how to build a small yet very effective team to do everything for you. And then your business can become semi-passive in the matter. Like what I mean with that is you don't have to be for the day-to-day there, and you have a small team that takes care of things for you, and you just, you know, do what you want to do. And I like that. So now that we've looked at good products, what we want to be looking at in products, we want to be also looking at how to create a product page that sells. That is so important. Last week I created a document, like a PDF file, that is all about optimization for my students I have a group coaching program where I have we are a total of 25 women in there, and you know, we're working together. It's called Zero to Launch, and we're working together. So in that group, what I've done, I've worked on like an optimization guide to go through everything that is needed to have a product page that sells. Now, to go through everything, it would require me just alone 1-2 hours, but I want to go with you through the most important thing for your product page. There's like one main thing, like if you can focus on one thing, it's the main buying decision factor for your buyer, and that is the images. The images is the most important thing, and sometimes, unfortunately, a place where people save and don't put some thought in it. You don't have to have expensive photography done, have it like, you know, spend thousands of dollars on it. No, not at all. You can have an amazing listing, not spending much at all, really. We actually have templates as well. I'm going to show you in a moment because I think you guys are going to benefit from that. But images is the most important part of listings. Most customers, I've once read a statistic. I'm not sure if the statistic is correct or not, but the number, it sort of made sense to me. So it said 67% of buyers will base the decision because of the images. It sounds about right to me, because when I work with sellers that are already doing 6 figures or beyond, what we focus on a lot is conversion as well, like get more sales from the people that are looking at your listing. And what we always look at, like with not a doubt, we will look at the images. And when we look at the images, we do look at a few things that are important. We want to have the infographics, we want to have social proof, we want to have some trust building, sometimes comparison charts. Let me quickly show you. I have to quickly close this for you guys, and I'll just open it right away there. Let me show you. So with my group, I have more than 90 templates, and these are really, really effective and so important. So you want to have the sort of graphics in your listing that do they are more like infographics in a way, you know. You want to show the product, have some lifestyle image with it. You want to explain, really point out the benefits. You want to explain how it's used. And these ones here are just templates, so they can be just changed. And it's beautiful because the reason why I decided to create these, because I used to spend a lot of money, and it was a little bit difficult to get this sort of stuff done in the way I wanted by designers. So I just hired some designers and let them, you know, create those templates for me and for the customers that I work with. And you want to have this. You really want to make sure, like Amazon allows you to have 7 images, and you want to make the best out of it. You want to have the combination of the product looks nice, lifestyle, emotional factor. The emotional part of the brain is one of the main parts that makes a decision. And even if the person thinks they're logical, they're still making an emotional decision, but they're going to rationalize the decision by logic. And that's why you want to always have logical infographics as well, because that is how the person is going to rationalize it. And this is not to manipulate the buyer, but it's to really be able to point out why this product is good, and so that the customer understands why this is something that they're going to like. So have some social proof. And here's some more social proof. So we have like these templates for all sorts of, we have more than 90. I've hired a total of 2 different designers, and 1 team member of me also created more listings. Like we have so many in here. It's like just blank, where you can put everything in yourself. So that's pretty cool. If you are interested in this sort of templates, you can also just reach out in the DMs, and I can give you a link to it. These are really, really awesome. They are amazing, and they work well. Some of the women that have launched from the group coaching, they have used templates as well for the listing, and they're doing well. So yeah, and if you ever wanted to join the group coaching program, you would of course get them as well. It's included. I usually share whatever resource I do for myself. I also share with the women in there. Now, we need to figure out how to get traffic now. Like, we know that we have to have great images to get the sale once people go on our product, and we need to have a combination of nice looking images, some emotional lifestyle images, and some logical images that are, infographics, some comparison charts, some trust banners. Like if you're, for example, selling something that is cruelty free, organic. You want to make sure you have big icons to really point that out. You also want to make sure you have some social proof in there, and so on. This increases your sales by so much. Last summer, I worked with one lady, and she came to me and she had a awesome product, very unique, really nice. And she had a conversion rate of around 8%. I mean, which is not bad. But I noticed that her listing images, they were missing some of these components. They were missing the emotional part. They were missing the infographics. It was only the product from different angles. And while the images were nice, they were not grabbing. And we did change those images. And her conversion rate went to 16% right away. So you have to imagine she could then double her income from the same amount of traffic. So if 100 people came to see her product, instead of 8 buying the product, 16 would buy it. That is a massive difference. That's like doubling your sales just by changing your images. Huge. That's why do not underestimate the power of the images and how powerful the sort of infographics and templates are, because you can just drag and drop and make graphics that work. Then, of course, we want to know how we get people to see our page and how can we launch well. And this is sort of the final piece of the puzzle for this part, and something that has certainly changed now in the last few months, because similar to the Google algorithm and the YouTube algorithm and the Instagram algorithm, like all these different algorithms, Amazon has an algorithm, of course, as well, that decides what is going to be in page number 1 and what is not going to be in page number 1. And if you yourself have already bought something from Amazon, you will most likely know that you don't go to page number 3 and 4 and 5 to look for a product. You go to the first page and you usually decide on the first page if you're going to buy a product from there. So in order to succeed on Amazon, what do we then need? We need to be on page number 1. And to be on page number 1, we need to understand the algorithm a little bit. We need to understand, okay, how is the algorithm choosing products to be in page number 1? And how can I be there to be chosen to be on page number 1? And what has changed over the last few months is actually quite good news for people that are starting new products, because over the years, the algorithm kept changing because they want to make it the best possible experience for the buyers. Now, in 2016 and 2015, the way the algorithm would work is like the one with the most reviews would be on the first spot, and then it would go down by the reviews. Then later on, end of 2016, 2017, they noticed that, no, that's not the way to go. We are going to go by sales volume. So the ones that are selling the most are going to be further up, and the ones that are selling less, they're going to not be seen. And then they kept changing it. Now, they have changed it in a way that is quite good for us, because that's how it used to be just until not too long ago. So they used to give the best spots for the best sellers. And they didn't care if the search result was exactly what people were searching for. They just wanted to show a product that they knew was selling. So you would have like all these massive sharks that, were already making a lot of money and being on the really good positions. Now, thank goodness, that has changed a bit, which is awesome, because now the algorithm is not looking at the one that is making the most sales, but it is looking at the product that is the most relevant to the buyer. Now, if we now think about this, it means that Amazon wants to make sure whatever the buyer is looking for, that Amazon can bring them good search results that are going to satisfy the buyer, because the products that are shown are exactly what the buyer is looking for. Since the algorithm is a machine, how can Amazon then do this? And the way they do this to know if a product is relevant or not is by looking at the right keywords. And when we look at the right keywords, here again, software comes in, but I want to explain you the strategy behind it, because knowing the strategy is going to already help you so much, even if you don't know 100% how to do proper keyword research, but it's already giving you a very good understanding and clarity that even if you're just getting started, if you're going for a product that is not too crazy competitive, of course, but somewhat, has a search volume, and you are able to add some value, you have nice images, you have a beautiful product. And now, even as a total newbie, you can come in and launch well without giving out free products out there, without doing Facebook advertising and all that stuff. Like if you look on Amazon, and not on Amazon, on YouTube for like Amazon launching strategies, most of the stuff that you will find there, it's nonsense. Like, no, don't do what they're saying. It's old stuff. They suggest you give away free products and give a lot of discount codes and here and there. This doesn't work anymore. This is just going to be super expensive for you and not what you want. But what you want to rather focus on is figuring out, okay, how does my customer search for my product? I want to know exactly how they're searching, what synonyms are they using, how do they explain the product, what is an additional thing that they're searching for. Like, you want to know exactly what people are searching for, and then you want to have exactly that in your product. And when I say in your product, you want to have it in your title, then in your description, in your bullet points, and then in the back end. When I say back end, in the Amazon seller interface, the site where the sellers can put in the products and stuff, you have a part where you can put in keywords. And that's where you want to be putting those in as well. And this is super, super important, because when you have the right keywords, even if you don't have that many sales yet, you are going to be able to rank much better, because Amazon will recognize that you are a match for what people are searching for. And that's why here at this point, and write this down if you can, it is so, so important that you learn what your customer is searching for. If you know exactly what your customer is searching for, to search for that type of product that you are selling, then you can create your listing, your text of your product in a way that it can be much easier found. And this is quite magical now in 2021, that there's so much strength with the relevancy. It's great. Of course, at the same time, you will benefit if you do some outside promotion, maybe have an influencer, you get some buzz going on. It's not you just upload your product and you just let it go and that's it. But launching a product is not as big of a challenge like it was in 2017, 2018, 19 even. Like for a few years, it was a little bit more challenging to launch products, because you had to get like a lot of sales volume in order to be on page number 1. And since that has changed now, and we just want to be very relevant, there are much simpler methods to launch your product by having a little bit of outside promotion and have a simple PPC campaign set up on Amazon. And this is something that we have done with some of the beta zero to launch students as well. When they launch their product, I help them set up some campaigns. Very simple, straightforward. They didn't have any reviews, or maybe one review. One had one review, one had no reviews yet, and launched really, really well, did very well. And that is the power of knowing what the relevant keywords are. And here again, this is something that I speak about in the software video that I do have. And if you are interested in getting that, do just comment software, because this is going to show you how to find out those keywords and how to find out what your competitors are doing. Very, very important. Very, very effective. And yeah, at this point, we are getting to the end of this part of the training. And usually when I do trainings, I do get different sort of instant reactions from people. And there's one very common and very understandable reaction is like pure overwhelm, like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. I don't even know if I want to start. And then oftentimes they would really like to do it, but they walk away because they feel overwhelmed. So in today's training, I try to make the content more digestible as well, to not be too overwhelming. But at the same time, I want to be giving a lot of value, because I am so tired of these webinars where you don't get anything, you don't learn anything. Today, we learned a lot of deep strategy, and some of it might have seemed simple, but it is the magic of how you can really build a bigger business. When I'm working with 6 to 7 figure business, we're working with the same strategies because they are so effective. And in the end of the day, in 2021, it's what you need to be doing. But yeah, you might be feeling overwhelmed right now, because it's quite a bit of information. Others that are watching my trainings, often they're like, okay, I'm going to start this right now, and then they get stuck somewhere, and then they stop it, and they just feel like they don't know how, and then they just stop, and then they just go to the next idea that they have. They start, and then they stop. And I don't say it with any judgment, because trust me, I have been this person very often and for very long. And then there's the person that is just, hey, I want to really get this done. This was awesome. Thank you, Laura. Awesome value. Now tell me, how can I get started? I want to get started now. And if this is you are that person, I would invite you to speak with us, to look at the Zero to Launch group coaching, because the Zero to Launch group coaching that we have is giving you the support, everything that you need to go from startup, being the action taker, and then the results. But in order to get the results, you have to be the action taker. You have to be the person that is going to implement, that is going to do the things that, even in doubt, even if you feel like, oh gosh, today I don't feel like this is just, stick through it, because in the end of the day, you're going to get to the result. And looking back, when you look back at a bumpy road, and it doesn't have to be bumpy, but I always like to calculate with it being bumpy, because when it then is bumpy, we are prepared to it. And if it is not bumpy, then well, awesome. It doesn't have to be bumpy, but I like to be quite realistic in that kind of sense. And sometimes it's just part of it. It's bumpy. And to get to the final results, and then looking back, like, gosh, this was so damn worth it, and I'm so grateful that I did this. And I often think, like, I wish I did some things much earlier, that I would have just dared to do it, or that I would have just reached out to the person that could have helped me. Because I oftentimes felt like, oh, I have to do everything myself. Much difficulty with getting help from others. Until I realized the way to move forward is by getting help from those that already have been through that. And I once got like a really incredible analogy. Analogy? Yeah, I think that's how it's said. Someone once told me, if you were going to go for a hike and you were wanting to go to a hut, or was it like a cabin, something like that, on the other side of the hike, and you never went on a hike, you don't have a map, you don't know where to go, and you were just going on your own and you just got lost. You might have gotten to the cabin, but it might have taken you really, really long. You might have gotten hurt, lost, and somewhere. But if on the other side there would have been, or there was a guide that has been to the cabin daily, a lot of times, they have been doing that for a pretty long time, and that offered you, hey, I can take you to the cabin, I can show you the way. Like, what would you be doing much rather if your goal is to get to the cabin? So I was like, oh, that's a really good analogy. That really makes it very, visual. Like, yeah, obviously I would take the guide. But when when that guy said that to me, I was like, I had like a little bit of an epiphany, because I'm like, gosh, yeah, true. Like in that story, it's so easy for me to see that getting the help makes sense. But sometimes in my real life, I notice that I still struggle to get help when I need it. So I found that was a quite eye-opener that I enjoyed. And if you are similar, you want to take action, you want to get this business started, you see the benefit in it, and you feel like a little, I want to do this, then I do invite you to talk to us about Zero to Launch. It's a 6-month group coaching program. We are an intimate group of like-minded women from all around the world, all different ages, all different backgrounds, and starting from literally zero, no product yet, finding a product, and then launching it. And it will not necessarily take you the 6 months to launch. Sometimes, depending on your speed, you can be already launching and maybe even launch another product, or a different brand or something like that. But throughout the time, I am there to do the coaching with you, weekly Q&As, trainings. There's like a membership site. There's like tons of in-depth trainings, tutorials, up-to-date. Every week there's a new up-to-date training. And what is the most important benefit that I find is like you have accountability. Like, you're doing it in a group and then you're finally doing it. You are not doing it on your own. And if this is something that you would like and you feel like this is speaking to you, then I invite you to book we have like a get to know each other session. It's a no strings attached phone call where we just talk and see if this aligns with your goals, if we feel that this is a good match, it's a fit, and then you are welcome to join the group, get to know the other girls, other women, and go on this journey together. Yeah, so I want to quickly show you a little bit from some of the students that have already been there. Like, here we have one lady that was just launching her first product, and then she went to 5 units in one day. That, keep in mind, is just in her launching week. So that was very, very early in her launching week. Since then, she's been doing really, really well. And that was even, I think, without reviews. Like, she was doing good sales even without any reviews. That is the power of choosing a good product and having a very good listing. And she had both. Then, of course, we have a few other ladies in here that have been wonderful. Whoopsie. I'm getting here a message. And I mean, I'm super, super happy that I have started this group, because I've always worked with corporate clients before, and in my heart, it was somehow I always wanted to do this, and I didn't dare. And then last year, I did start with doing some beta rounds and so on, and I'm so happy. The outcome is so beautiful, and I would be very happy to have more of you in the group. So if you want to be part of the Zero to Launch, please feel free to go to the link. I'm going to be posting that in the comments. If you would like to have the link, please just say yes, or reach out to me in the DMs, and you will get the link for the applications. If you're watching the replay, then you will see the link just below this video. Awesome. I thank you so much for being here. I'm going to now close the presentation and see if you have any questions. And if you have any questions, I'm here to do a Q&A now and answer all the questions that I was not able to answer during the presentation, because I was not able to see your comments, but now I am. And I would love to see the questions. Like here you see, so let me close this, because doesn't it look freaky? You know, the window in the window in the window. Let me close this. Let me just show myself. Hello. Let me see through the, if there are any questions. This is a great opportunity for many to see how awesome your program is. The mindset is so important. Welcome days. Our why has to be strong. It changes our mindset and our commitment. Oh, that is so true. Manufacturers. I see quite a few comments for the manufacturer list. The team is going to get you the list tomorrow in your comment. So if you too want to have it's basically a Google sheet with all sorts of websites that are going to give you manufacturer resources. Here we have a question. Do you need to register your business as an LLC to dropship? To dropship, I do recommend still to do it. In this training, however, we're talking about Amazon FBA, and I do recommend you to have a business setup. It doesn't have to be an LLC. It depends where you're located as well, but something that is a business entity for multiple reasons, especially because of liability. Laura is dedicated to helping women change the business world with awesome products. Thank you. Very sweet, very sweet. If you do have any other additional questions, do let me know. Any questions about the training that we had, or even about the coaching program, all open. If you are good, then I will just close this training. It went a little bit longer than expected, but I just wanted to make sure that I cover everything for you guys to be in there, because it's just important. Thank you too. I'm glad you guys liked it, and I'll be posting the link for those of you who want to take the next step and take the action to build that business. Yeah. Awesome. I look very much forward to see you very soon. And just contact me for the training or for the group coaching. Have a beautiful evening and talk to you soon. Bye.